Hi, I'm attorney Vernita Williams. You know what? I've been getting a lot of questions about the ladybird deed. People are calling my office saying, I want to do a ladybird deed. Well, the ladybird deed is legally called an enhanced life estate deed. Let me tell you some of the good things about the ladybird deed, and then I'll tell you some things that are not necessarily bad, but you need to look out for. The good thing about a ladybird deed is it is a deed that you can do, and you can place people that you would like to own your property in the future, but you're going to maintain control of the property with the ladybird deed. The ladybird deed, number one, keeps you in control. Number two, it allows you to give property to someone in the future. Number three, it helps you to avoid having to create a revocable trust. And number four, it is also an alternative to transferring property using a last will and testament where people have to go to court. Now, I want to emphasize that first thing that I told you, number one, you maintain control. With the ladybird deed, you are able to mortgage the property if you want to take out a mortgage. You can rent the property if you want to rent it. However you want to manage it, you maintain complete control that you had before you did the ladybird deed. So that's a good thing about it. And then in the future, once you pass away, that property goes to whoever you named as what they call the remainder man. Now, those are the four good things about the ladybird deed. But let me tell you a few cautions because it's a good product, but there are a couple of things that I have to point out to you. Now, remember, I said that you can give this property to someone in the future in the ladybird deed. Whoever you name as the future owner or the remainder man, remember that any creditor that that person has could try to come after that property to get them to pay a particular bill that is owed to that creditor. So a remainder man could attract a lien being placed on the property so that whoever is putting the lien can use their property to get paid in the future. That's one of the cautions about it. Another thing, you cannot do a ladybird deed to try to disinherit a spouse or a minor child. For instance, if your state is a state that has homestead rights for spouses, you can't just do a ladybird deed and say, let me just do a deed and let me just give this to somebody other than my spouse or a minor child in the future. You cannot use the ladybird deed for that. It will not be valid. Another thing is, once you do your ladybird deed and you name the remainder man, the person that you want to have the property in the future, if that person passes away, then there's going to be a big question as to who is to own your property in the future. So if you name somebody to own your property in the future in your ladybird deed and that person passes away, you will need to go back and you will need to upgrade your ladybird deed to name somebody else to be clear as to who is supposed to own the property when you pass away. Another thing about the ladybird deed is if you change your mind, it's going to require a little bit of work for you to go back and upgrade the ladybird deed. But overall, if you know how to do it, and I'm emphasizing that because I've seen some deeds where people attempted to do a ladybird deed and it wasn't phrased properly and it created a lot of confusion. So the ladybird deed, also called the enhanced life estate deed, is a very good tool. It has a very good use as far as keeping you from having to do a revocable trust or keeping you from having to transfer property through a last will and testament. But make sure you consider all the good things and make sure you consider all of the cautions. If you would like more information about the ladybird deed, you can call me at 786-831-9483. 786-831-9483.